The following is a fan-based discussion. All materials discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, Saban Entertainment, and Subarai Productions. Hello everybody, welcome back to Tokucast episode number 58, Engine Sentai Go-Onger.
People have been waiting for this for quite some time.
They have, but they can wait a little bit longer because before we begin, a word about Patreon. Well, first off, I would like to thank our Team Finisher patrons, which is our $10 and up tier. Teamer, David, Spencer Kane, and Allison Gitowski, thank you so much. And second, I would like to talk about our second Patreon goal. Now, our first Patreon goal, as some of you may know, we had a stream a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, about a month ago, maybe.
Something like that. And we were able to reach it. Thank you all very much for helping. Now, our next goal. We are trying to buy a new camera. So we don't have to constantly use Marcus's phone. We'll be able to get better image quality. Hopefully we'll be able to shoot more skits. So that is our second goal. We have not yet decided on which camera yet, but hopefully not something too expensive.
So please, if you have not yet, contribute to our Patreon if you can. We would really appreciate it.
Plus, we might do more trivia shows, and you all seem to love that. Thank you, by the way.
Yes, thank you for your feedback on that.
That was great. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the cringe. That was
We need to get better punishments, though. Like the being.
Yeah, we do have to figure those out.
It was a good start.
The being boozled is probably the next logical step, or maybe something involving pain instead of disgusting.
Well, I don't know. We might keep that one around, especially because of the fact that you haven't done it yet.
That's what the being boozled's for.
Oh, the pain will be real later on. But yes!
Maybe one of those like hand buzzers or something.
No, you first.
But yes, Engine Sentai Go-Onger.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that Jacob and I found out while watching this show.
What's that?
The reason why we're not going to do this one the way that we did the Kiva one, we didn't really like Kiva.
At all.
Rewatching Go-Onger.
Go-Onger is bad, but it's not as bad as I remembered.
Yeah.
I feel betrayed.
This is not the worst thing we've had to... It's not as bad as O-Ranger. It's not as bad as the Ninja. It's not as bad as Kiva. Not as bad as Stronger. Not as bad as Amazon. Not as bad as Amazons. It's not as bad as Ultraman Ginga. This show is not good, but it's not the worst.
Yeah. There were things
It's not one of the worst.
Upon rewatch, I really liked.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
There was something at the end.
Okay.
Especially at the end. But yeah. Let's go ahead and...
I guess it's different when you're going and expect with the bar so low versus going and not knowing anything.
Yeah, because I've already watched the show before, and
Yeah.
I had watched this before watching Car Ranger.
I tried watching this in college.
I watched this before watching Car Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are. Let's go ahead and start off with a GP1. Grand Prix 1. Allies of Justice.
For starters, we're just... So much creativity with that episode title.
Yeah.
Allies of Justice.
Allies.
Yes.
Not the Justice. They're just allies of it.
Just all the creativity is on display here.
Yes, where we end up meeting, the engines.
We meet them first. We meet their mechs before we actually meet the Rangers.
Well, it makes sense when the mechs are just as much as characters as the rest of them.
Which
Not really.
Definitely.
I didn't say good
That implies
characters.
they have character.
I didn't say good characters.
They're just characters.
I think an appropriate title for this would be Anime Noises the Show.
Basically.
It is
Big,
more an appropriate
googly
title.
Anime eyes.
Big googly anime noises.
And we see the engines chasing down the Gaiar, which are the bad guys of this season.
Still not as bad as Tube.
No.
Still not as bad as Something Search People.
And basically, it's also true. They're basically
Tube is better than
there.
that.
The Gaiar, their whole goal is to cause as much pollution and destruction as on any world.
Any dimension world
any
that
dimension.
they happen to be in.
And the first one they went to was the engine dimension.
And the engines were far too powerful.
Yes, so they got chased into a portal, came to the human dimension, and the engines followed them, but their souls got separated from the casts of their engine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hence our little chip things for the morphers.
yeah. And the way that they end up meeting the Go-Onger is really never explained.
They never show you. This is all just... We see them fighting on Machine World, and then we cut to Human World, and then the monsters show up, and then we're the Go-Ongers.
Engine
They've already been the Go-Ongers.
Oh, yeah.
Which is there's nothing wrong with that.
Let's talk about the opening. I don't like it.
It sucks.
I don't like
it's
it at all.
fucking...
It still sucks.
I really don't like this opening. I know some people do. That's fine. I am not a fan of it. It's something...
Hold on, pause. Did you just admit that someone is okay to have a different opinion than you?
I know it hurts me. I'm actually dying on the inside.
Wow.
But
That was in the Book of Revelations.
it's right before the rapture.
Can you open the blind and make sure there's not a swarm of locusts heading our way?
Oh, no, not today. That was yesterday. You missed that part. Allies of Justice, though. Let's talk about the suits. The first 3 suits that we see. And I like the fact that we only get to see these 3 first.
Mm.
Makes sense. And weirdly enough, this episode, while fast, I didn't feel super overwhelmed by it. And I don't know why. I think it's because I'm used to Ninja having everything in that first episode, then getting their powers. It's like, since they already have them, it's like, okay, there's no real introduction.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
I didn't feel super overwhelmed.
Yeah, if you're going to show everything in the first episode, suits, mechs, all that, it's good to always already have them be Sentai members as opposed to, here's who they are, here's how they get their powers. It kind of slows it down just a teeny bit, but enough.
Yeah.
It slowed it down a teeny bit, but Black and Green's introductions...
Yeah,
I
you
thought
see
were
them
terrible.
as people first, and apparently Gunpei was a police officer, a prior police officer that got fired, and Green is just random.
He's an anime
jobbers.
character.
He is.
They're all anime characters.
But let's talk about the first 3 suits. I'm
not really a fan of any of these suits.
I like Reds. Reds is honestly my favorite out of the main 3.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like Blues, and that's mostly because of the helmet.
The helmet is kind of...
Square?
Yeah.
Like, everything else down looks fine. I like, the racing stripes.
I understand what they were going for, the racing stripes. It's also a seatbelt.
Yeah. Like,
And
that looks fine to me.
The logos, the colors, everything. Like, it's okay,
It's just
but
the
I'm not a
helmet
big
that breaks
fan.
it.
See, I think the chest logo breaks it, and I think the helmet breaks it, in terms of everybody.
I honestly don't, like, the chest logo, I don't think it breaks it because it's outlined by the seatbelts.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about the design itself, when they're incorporating their number into their animal. I just don't like that idea. And
Yeah.
it looks like with Black, I know we're not there yet, but it looks like he's missing part of his brain.
Right. Yeah, but Blue and Yellow are out of the first 3 that we get introduced to. I do not like it. Like, a helmet can really make or break a suit.
Though and
that happens here.
I will say this, I'm glad that they kind of went back to and I know we're not really there yet, the individual weapons for each member that combined into the finisher.
I mean, you see them first episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying we haven't really picked that up as a conversation yet.
We'll talk about it more when we next episode.
As opposed to like Zoodra, which was only Red gets a weapon. The fuck?
Yeah, when we get to that season, that'll be a fun.
No, 3 years from now.
Let's go ahead and just move on to GP2 because they beat the monster. Oh, we do get the mech in the first episode.
Yep.
Engine O.
I hate the mechs in this show.
I hate them so much.
It's because of the fact that the individual mechs talk.
It's not just that, it's just they're ugly. The mechs in this show are ugly.
Like, I like the head of Engine O.
Yeah.
I like that picture. I love when they do rendering pictures like this. I think that looks beautiful. Wish they do them more often. But yeah, it's the
eyes and faces.
Eyes and faces are not the problem. Once again, the yellow one is just barely there. It's just the belly button.
Barely there.
I'm just gonna go bang myself now.
No, you stay. I'll go.
But yeah, I like the head on Engine O. I think that's honestly the best part of it.
From the neck up.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
I don't like its sword.
Yeah, the sword.
It has like a 500-foot long handle and a 2-foot blade.
Yeah. It's not the worst. There have been worse than this.
Yeah, but they're all from this show.
He's not accurate.
Oh, the shade of it all.
He's not inaccurate.
I'm glad these lights are on, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see past all this shade.
Well, not all the lights are on.
Oh, yeah, eventually. Episode 2, though, Gunpei has an issue with the main 3 because he thinks they're kids, which basically they are.
His intro he walks up to them and he's like, "Hey, you're all dicks." And then he just kind of walks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While
Because
while
it's
Green
drawn
is like
Gundam
and then
style?
Green is standing next to him, just having an orgasm.
Yeah,
Because OMG Senpai, you're so cool.
that's basically him. But we can talk about their suits now. I like Green out of these two. Out of these two, I like Green a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the fact that I like the shape of the visor. It's weird.
I honestly don't think green and gold go together that much in terms of a color scheme. I feel like green and black would have been better, like for the...
Oh yeah, because they get a different changer. The main three get cell phones, and these three get wrists.
Gear shift wrist.
Which I like. I like the fact that we actually got different
morphers for each
one.
set. And I'll give you that. That's not terrible. And those were designed pretty well.
Yeah.
Though, unless you ask Linkara, because cell phone morphers are the worst.
They're just overdone.
They are.
But I
We're
like
not asking him.
Black
No,
and
it's
gold
just a
goes together a lot better.
Yeah, black and gold goes together a lot better. It also helps that his headlights on his helmet are yellow, whereas greens are not. So it also ties it in from head to toe as opposed to just from the neck down. So if I had to pick, I actually like black except for his chest piece. Like I said, Wolf is missing his brain. But the entire show is missing its brain, so it kind of fits.
All right. Like I said, we can go ahead and skip. We're just going to skip to the main parts of this, the main storyline. I will give the show this. It likes to build up things. Like it'll have like comedy through most of it, but it'll have something at the end that makes you tie into the next episode.
Build up.
Thank you. But yeah, it'll always end up having something that literally builds up to the next episode. So it's almost a continuous story in some cases. Of course, they do end up taking breaks because the show is this show. But they do end up doing some build up. Episode 4, and we end up getting to meet the other two engines, Gunpurds and Beardo? Which one the shark is called.
Birka. He's an orca.
Birka.
An orca and a motorcycle and a German shepherd and a police car. Yeah, he's an orca.
I think they made him a shark.
Because
he looks like a shark.
Yeah, he looks more like a shark.
Also, you also have an orca, and then you have the whale one later, so they didn't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
An orca and a giant blue whale are two different animals.
But when it's never mind. Japanese kids are smarter than American kids, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm pretty sure American kids are that smart too.
Episode 7, we end up getting to meet really our last of the main ones, which is Corrugator.
Mm-hmm. Who's an alligator.
Who is a giant alligator-like carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And they form Gun Bureau with that particular mech. I do not like Gun Bureau at all.
I don't like any of these mechs.
It's so bulky in the middle.
A lot of them are really bulky.
Yeah.
But
a lot of these mechs are fat.
But especially this one.
No, I think there's one that also...
There is one that's bigger.
That's worse.
Yeah, it's just like with Gun Bureau, I don't know. I do like that, once again though, the villains in this show, and this could be just like in response to just coming off of Jackie Ranger, where the villains were so large in that show, these villains don't seem to really pose any threat.
No, not really. But I will say this, I like their designs.
I do
One
like
thing I do like about the show is the monster and general designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their designs are good.
Yes, they are.
Could have done without the constant anime noises, but what can you do?
And animated, like, cutaways and sound effects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so much a part of the show that when a character stops using them, it becomes a plot point.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Episode 10, we end up getting our first of the many combination mechs that we get in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Engine OG6. And, okay. It still doesn't look that good.
No, it looks terrible. You tried.
It's getting bulkier.
That's a theme for this show.
It's a major theme for this show. I love the cockpit.
I don't think this is actually an official form, but yeah.
Close enough. Yeah, I like the cockpit. I love, because at the beginning they were in individual cockpits, and then starting from episode 10 on, whenever they end up forming with the combination mechs, they always end up having a shared cockpit, and I like that a lot. Also, I like the fact that Ren Blue was constantly making these upgrades to the engine cast, so they would end up having things like this. He's like the brains of the group, which works for him.
But he's not Scottish.
He's not Scottish, and that's his major problem.
No, he's Japanese.
Episode 16. In the mech fight, I love the way that these people are introduced. In the mech fight, we end up getting to see 2 other engines come up and start shooting at the mech at the end of it. Jetrus and Terrifter.
Mm-hmm.
And we only see the mechs. And in the next episode, we finally end up getting to see who was in those mechs. There was 2 other Go-Ongers, the Go-On Wings. I love the way they're introduced. It's silent. They don't say anything. They're just there. They came to do a mission and then they leave. And I like that.
Silence is always nice.
Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver.
Copper is brown.
Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about their suits.
I actually like their suits.
I like their suits the most in this show.
Especially, I like golds, if I had to pick one. But I like the Go-On Wings.
The Go-On Wings have very good suits.
I think they're okay.
In comparison to what we've been dealing with for, 16, 17 episodes, this is a nice change of pace.
Speaking of which, we did forget to mention one thing that's a problem in the show bumper. I hate characters like this. Cutesy characters.
He is no dap.
A mascot. And it doesn't work. This show has a lot of characters with, the wings, the main Go-Ongers, their engines.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much.
They're robot Furby.
And it overloads them. And this is the 10 years after picture. It's just, it's a lot. That's their main problem. It's just, you have a lot of characters. It
stares into your soul.
Too
bad I don't have one.
Episode 20, we end up getting to meet Jumbo Well, who's apparently the head of the wing squadron in Engine World, which is where Jetrus and Terrifter come from.
Mm-hmm.
And he was apparently the commander. Apparently the Go-On Wings went there and learned from him. Honestly, out of all the engines, I think he might be my favorite. And that's only because when they put Jumbo Well in his engine soul to the thing and they get the hologram come out, he has a mustache and a hat. And I'm just like, I am here for you. You're adorable. I want a plushie of you. Jumbo Well, he's also my favorite mech out of the show. I like the way he looks quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the fact that, one, it's a whale.
I will say this, a jumbo jet and a whale, that's a nice combination.
Yeah.
It is.
That one works.
That's pretty genius for this show, actually. It just works for me.
The problem is that you have to use the phrase for this show.
Yeah. And we also end up getting to meet...
For any show, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. We get to see...
See, I always thought I thought the best idea was the flying golden cock.
Proud of yourself?
I'm honestly surprised no one else said it. Especially you.
Because I didn't want to go for low-hanging fruit.
Really?
Not this time.
Really?
By the time you go for the low-hanging fruit, it's a juice box.
I can't even be mad at that one. That was great.
Remember when we tried to do this just the two of us?
Yeah.
We weren't as funny. We were not as funny.
Seikuo. We also end up getting to see this combination mech for the first time. I like the fact that it's honestly mostly blue.
For this time, it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think this might be the best mech in this show. It's skinnier. Yeah, Jumbo Whale's face is in the middle. But
that's a problem I have, is the face always being in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this
I honestly think that looks fine.
I like that it's mostly blue is nice, but then you have the hands really contrasting with everything else.
Which makes it stand out.
Its legs just look weird.
Yeah.
Its legs are too skinny.
Yeah.
How are you supporting yourself?
Yeah. I still think it looks fine, though.
You can, after what we've been getting, it is the best looking that we've gotten.
Really? Because I saw this one and I was like, how did we miss this one for our worst mechs list?
Because because there are worse. I'm saying it is the best in comparison to the rest of the show. I have to have that kind of subtitle there.
I disagree.
What do you think the best in this show is?
There isn't one. They're all bad.
Tell us how you really feel.
He will. He fucking will.
The best is probably Jumbo Whale by himself.
Yeah.
On that.
Now, there was another, under Yogastein, another general that came in, Hiro Mekimedes, who wears glasses. And he's super smart, but he's also super cowardly. So whenever he's about to get into a fight, he gets shot once, He's like, Yoga-san-sama, I can't fight anymore. And then he runs. And I'm just like, that's hilarious to me for some reason.
Which is funny, because don't they use this outfit in RPM?
But they get rid of the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. This is
That's hysterical.
This is Vengeance's first body. I like...
Doesn't last very long.
Yeah. I like...
What the fuck is this?
We'll talk about that in a second. Actually, you remember that. Well, we'll talk about that in a second after we get off that. Hirameki Mendes comes in, and Yoko-san actually ends up getting tired of him because he keeps failing.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
So in this one...
Which I like to see that every now and then because that's just realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually it's like, I've had it with your bull. No.
So Yoga-san ends up stabbing Hirameki Mendes. He tries to destroy him, but he runs.
Stab.
And the Go-Hunters end up trying to save him, but the Go-On Wings are just like, let him die. When he's being attacked by the foot minions, foot soldiers.
I mean,
of this
yeah.
season, along with another monster.
I don't see a hole in their logic.
But there is a hole in him.
See, I was gonna
Nope.
I was gonna hit the table to do the drum thing, but
God damn it.
he's on point
He
today.
really is.
Thank you.
But yes, the Go-Hunters don't like to see him getting beat up. Because it's just like, you're just picking him on the weak. So they're trying to help him, but of course, Hirameki Mendes is backstabbing them. And ends up getting beaten by Engine OG9.
Mm-hmm.
Our 3 combination back when they couldn't beat him, so, they just gotta keep combining. And
keep combining until there's no mechs left.
And basically, Kagalacia, the female one, who's like the water pollution minister, she's like, where do they keep doing this? Where do they keep getting this from? But once again,
Why are there so many mechs?
Yeah, this is something that Ren and Hiroto worked on in the background to end up combining these two.
It's raining mechs.
Let's talk about this mech for about 3 seconds.
Which one?
G9.
Wasn't this on our worst list?
No,
that was G12.
Yeah, that's right.
G9.
This is the precursor to G12.
I don't mind it as much as I thought I would, but it still looks awful.
I hate it so much.
There are so many pointy bits.
So many pointy bits, and once again, it's got a whale sticking out of it.
Like, if he turns sideways, everybody dies.
So many pointy bits, it might as well have a 2-tailed fox running around with him.
But it has 2 tails on its back.
So they've already fused.
It's just huge. Once again, love the cockpit, though. Because this time they end up having gold, silver in there.
Mm-hmm.
2 new seats. And it works with the 3 main ones and then black, green, gold, and silver in the back. I like that. It's weird that I'm saying so much about the
Only
cockpit.
was in a better mech.
Yeah. It's weird that I'm saying so much about the cockpit.
Cockpits are nice.
Insert gay joke here. I'm just tired.
Episode 23. They end up bringing Hirameki Mendes back, but he's really damaged, so he ends up going insane and ends up becoming Detata Mendes, which is apparently like a pun on insanity and randomness. And he ends up going after Hiroto first, but Hiroto and Sosuke have been, forcibly hanging out because Sosuke is annoying. And he ends up hanging out with Hiroto this entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
And
that sounds familiar.
He couldn't. We'll get there in a second. Hiroto couldn't predict any of Determined's attacks. And he ends up having to really go after Sosuke, just like, you're attacking randomly. Mm-hmm. But it seems to be working against him. And then they grab him with G9 and like point blank shoot him, damaging the engines and themselves, and then they end up blowing up Determined's.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that's also a thing. All of the people in Gaia, their names are puns for Japanese words.
Yep.
And
Japanese love their puns.
They do.
More than you.
What was it? Polar Bear's Cafe?
I missed that show.
The pun anime.
That show was great. Oh, it was such a good show. Now, for the Gaia, they will constantly go back and like rebuild monsters out of broken monster pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And this sort of ends up happening.
Maybe pollution, but at least they recycle.
Yeah, or they end up like just building off of what they already end up having. Because in episode 29,
that's quite a hysterical point, actually.
What's that?
They may all be about pollution, but at least they recycle.
They do. That's hilarious. Wow, I'm so shook.
The irony is real.
Episode 29, Stop Hiroto. I only mentioned this episode because I like the direction that they took in it.
Okay.
This is the one where they end up building like that hammer-headed mech, and that mech is beating the hell out of Miu. Like, the absolute hell out of her. And Hiroto ends up going insane, and they end up building a new engine, more or less. I can't remember the name of it. It's the tire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a picture of him.
I'm trying to remember its name.
Go on tire.
No.
Go on, Happy
But-
Meal Toy.
The way that Hiroto was already building this, but apparently it had a problem.
It does look like a Happy Meal toy.
It does. It had a problem where it was just too powerful. Like the engine they were using, it had a lot of it backfired a lot.
It had a lot of horsepower.
Go Rotor GT.
You remember the fucking toys they used to sell in the early 2000s? Just the wheel on the Beyblade thing?
Yeah.
That.
It was a Beyblade.
It was a wheel.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a robot that they used as a finisher. It was basically like their boy mech of this season.
Boy!
Like, you
Boy.
remember,
Boy,
Mass
we
Man
never
had
wolf
one.
without taking our
and
head off.
Jetman had one too.
Dad of boy.
It's so accurate.
Go of on.
Go on.
But yeah, Go Rotor GT, let's talk about that for a second. It really does look like a toy. It's not the worst. It's probably literally the best design mech in this entire damn show. But
No, it's not. That would imply they're...
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, how do you move?
you don't.
You don't have any articulation whatsoever.
I look at it and I go, how do you hold things?
That too, unless you give it a rake and go.
Yeah. Episode 32, Search for
I
Treasure.
like this one.
That's only in the movie. But
I
it does
don't
appear in the
care.
show, so we'll talk about it.
I don't care. It looks good, in my opinion. But
episode-
I am biased as fuck.
Episode 32, this is the one where we first get to meet the ancient engines of Kishima, T-Line, and K-Line, along with Yoga Stein going out and looking for a mech that apparently was tied in with them. Some ancient guy mech, Harandathal.
Harandathal?
And in the next episode, they end up, the old engines end up accepting Sosuke as their partner, so they end up forming Kishamoth. That's like the weirdest thing to say. It's like,
It's a mammoth than a steam engine.
not Kisha, it's Kyoretsuo. So
Kishima, T-line, and K-line.
yeah. This
Motherfucker.
This
Is-
thing, it is so fat.
a terrible looking mech.
It's-
You know what it reminds me of?
What does it
Remember
remind you of?
Magi Ranger and Gold's train mech?
Train belly?
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't like it.
No.
It's mostly because of that. It's sticking out so far.
It's
Yeah,
sticks
why
out-
is the elephant have just the chest? Why?
Every time you see it from the side, it's like, how is it when you turn around, you don't immediately knock everything over?
Yeah.
How does it that you just don't fall forward?
Like, I like the color scheme.
How did how hollow did that have to be for the actor to stand up in that suit?
Severely.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's...
It's so top
Like, the
heavy.
mech would
Here's another question.
honestly...
How does the toy stand up?
It doesn't. The mech would honestly be fine.
No, did you have this toy?
No.
The mech would honestly be fine if they didn't have the chest.
If the chest were smaller,
Yeah.
and it wasn't 50 feet in length.
And then at the end of this episode, they end up bringing back Rondathal. Rondathal ends up basically beating all of the Go-Ongers, and Yoga Stein ends up like hitting. In the next episode, they end up beating Rondathal because they beat it with Engine OG-12.
The final mech.
We won't talk about G12. We talked about it enough in our worst mechs list.
It's
every mech in the show combined, and it's just a mess.
It's so bulky in a terrible way.
Bulky, it's unwieldy. Yeah.
Now, when Hiro Mechimedics was around, he like would input, I guess, screws onto the back of the minions to make them stronger, and that also apparently can absorb data. So when Harandathons are getting destroyed by this, he had a screw that Yoga Stein put into the backbone and absorb that data. It ends up becoming like some weird one-armed thing. He ends up
Putting it together must have been a nightmare.
I bet you it was. When he ends up attacking Go-On Bread, he puts like some screw around his heart, which at the end of the episode they end up beating. Well, not really so much beating Yoga Stein, but after they end up beating Harandathal, he turns to rust. He gets rusted. I honestly like the scene after they're walking away and they walk past a tree, so it's him and Gold. You only see Gold come out of the other side of the tree. You see Sosuke standing there, and he falls back and rusts over. It was a good shot, so I'll give them that.
But just that.
Yeah.
But just that. I will give you nothing else.
Everybody gets one thing.
And at the end of the next episode, once again, like I said, it ends up building up to future episodes. And,
For some reason.
Yeah. And it ends up, after Yosuke ends up sort of getting out of that himself, he goes and beats Yogastein.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was okay. That was cool. He did it by himself. Sosuke is unfortunately sort of shonen, so we'll talk about that more at the end of this. There is one other thing that ends up coming in, the double engine soul Kankan bar and the Kankan Mantangan. That's a...
Say that 7 times.
Sorry, what?
Try that again.
It's like the...
Oh, where is it?
Anime noise show.
Double engine soul, Kankan bar, and Kankan Mantangan.
Yeah. I know they brought it over.
I would love to see a script reading where one of the actors is like, "Excuse me, can we shorten this a little bit?"
No.
Never.
I don't remember that in RPM at all.
I think they only use it a few times.
I don't remember it at all.
Now, the team up
The team up.
with Geki Ranger.
Geki.
This is the one where they end up bringing back Long.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Jan in this.
Yeah.
This is the Jan that we end up getting to see more in Gokaido, where he's still, peppy and everything. But
He's toned down a bit.
He is a master.
Yeah. And he is interacting the most with Sosuke, and he's just like, you really have to learn how to focus. Because you don't have that. I know I had that problem. So, you just have to learn how to focus. And
You must Zawa. What?
Basically. And then there's that whole thing where Blue and I think Green end up playing the piano with their toes. This is the time with Kiva, so when they did that in Kiva, I was just like, okay. Also, Hiroto and Miyu end up bringing back Rio and Melee, because apparently they were also trained in another art, so they brought them back. And Rio and Melee, since they came back, they just decided to help. They can never be reincarnated. Who knows?
Okay.
But I like, once again, seeing all the teams fight together. Always a great thing.
Yeah.
In episode... Let's see.
X. Solve for it.
Basically.
No, I did that enough this week.
Oh, right. Episode...
Sorry.
39. At the end of episode 39, a portal in the sky ends up opening, and the one from the Go-Onger movie ends up showing up.
Hey, it's Avengers. And Suicide Squad. And every other fucking superhero movie that was made in the last 10
Was there a
years.
blue laser shooting up into it?
No.
Then it doesn't count.
Daishogun.
Is that right?
It's basically like an
It's always a blue laser. It's not just a portal. There's a
I
blue
know.
laser shooting up into
Fair
the sky.
enough.
It's an ancient... well, not so much an ancient, but a much older version of different mechs that were in the Sengoku period.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one.
I like this mech a lot. Black, gold, and red, man. And a little bit of silver.
And Samurai.
Also, when they end up doing... They have human forms, more or less,
Hashtag bias.
in the
I
ancient...
know.
In the
But are
movie.
you not?
And along in this episode. So the one who ends up playing the Sengoku era version of the Eagle...
We have a separate show going on over
We
here.
really do. So the one who ends up playing the Sengoku version of the Eagle is actually Faiz.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Thought he looked
The one who ends up playing the older version of Bear RV is Deca Pink.
Right.
And the one who ends up playing the Sengoku era version of Busan is Goggle Black, who also played Green's father.
That was Goggle Black.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, wow.
It's good to see. He comes back the most out of like that era.
Out of that area.
It's like him and Kenji-O. We just
Yeah.
see them a lot. I'm like, okay, I'm perfectly okay with this.
It's
I
certainly
like,
out of that show.
yeah, I like seeing people come back.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
this is just great.
Even if it is just in voice.
Yeah. Well, no, you actually see him.
Well, yeah.
And then in episode 40, you actually end up getting to see Faiz again, and he has a belt that he was going to do the transformation with. And I was just like...
I love it when they bring back previous actors and they acknowledge that they were in something else.
It's kind of distracting, though.
I mean, when they did it in Kyoryuger,
That's what I'm thinking of in particular.
that was,
It was so distracting.
but it was fucking funny because she'd been in this show so much. If it's like a one-off episode, I get it. But everyone's like, that's Deca Yellow, right?
And then she does it, and like, hold on. And then she does it correctly.
I just thought that was fucking funny.
I love when they do stuff like that. It's, a callback, especially because we see Deca Yellow a lot. We see Deca Pink a lot. Really any of the Deca Rangers a lot.
Yeah.
We see Fives a lot. I having returning.
We see Kenji Oba a lot.
It's true. Kenji Oba just shows up because he can. That is the thing.
He just wanders on set and they film around him.
Like that when he appeared in the Gavin movie and he drove the Jeep through the wall, that wasn't in the script. He just showed up and kicked a guy in the face like, alright, let's go then.
That's basically exactly what happened.
Oba-san, what are you doing? My job.
It's like, I don't know who you're talking about. I am Gavin. Okay.
This is what I do. Okay.
And the best there is at what I do. And what I do is awesome.
Alright. Now, there are some other members of the Guy Arc that end up coming back. There's Kideski? His name is weird to say.
He looks cool though.
Yeah, I love his look.
He looks amazing.
The black, once again, black, red, and silver, man. It always works.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Okay.
And he does the hair slick back thing, which is a thing they brought over to RPM, and I was so here for it.
They didn't bring his dustpan though.
No, they did not. They made sure to stay away from that. He's apparently like the cleaning minister, but...
Yep, the Minister of Cleaning.
So he's the head janitor.
Basically. And
that's unfortunate.
Shiraka-san, who they end up destroying as well.
Danger Cabinet.
Now, here's my problem with this. In episode 46, we end up getting to meet Yoga-san's father.
Because I like to call him the guy from the Go-Kaiju movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what I knew him as.
It's Yogo Shima Creekine. Their names are very long. I think they do that all.
They have really. It's like a combination of German and Japanese in all their names.
Here's my problem with this, though. He reminds me a lot of Wars Guild, and the fact that he shows up at the very end.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I like his design a lot.
His design is great.
Yeah.
It literally looks like a much bulkier version of Yoga-san, who is his son, which makes sense. But he comes in so late, and he's just so powerful. And then he ends up getting destroyed a few episodes later. Like everybody else ends up getting destroyed. I love the fact that the way that he comes in when another one of the ministers ends up getting destroyed, his, like, the energy from him ended up going up, created a portal to wherever he was, and he brought himself in. And he just overpowers the Go-Ongers, basically just wiping them out. Mm-hmm. Literally wiping them out. He wipes out black and green first, then gold and silver. And then they, blue, red, and green. Blue, red, yellow end up having to go in.
Because you got to end with the 3 we started with.
Yeah, and they end up breaking the thing that caused the people to disappear. The other 2 ministers are basically destroyed. And it's like the weirdest thing. And I don't like it when they end up having characters that come in just so late to just serve no purpose other than to be, I'm the final big bad. But you never heard about him.
Never mind him. I'm the real final boss.
Basically, you never heard about this guy. And then you end up getting to see him get... Oh my god. Okay. Here's the thing. You see him get destroyed, right? The first time.
Yeah.
And he ends up building himself back up from gears.
Yeah.
Right?
And then they go through him just like, just straight through him. And that destroys him. He said he was invincible. I'm sitting here like, there's some... It was so underwhelming.
Put your money where your mouth is.
It was very underwhelming.
You can't. It's full of gears.
It was very underwhelming seeing them beat him like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, you just came out the fact that he just built himself back up from gears. Mm-hmm. Then you go straight through him. I'm saying like you shouldn't be recovering from that. No, the show just ends.
They wrote themselves into a corner.
Well, we can't just have him keep rebuilding himself over and over and over again.
Or at least say like there's one part inside of him that is controlling that. If you destroy it, just do.
Because like that.
We have to stab his heart.
One Punch Man.
One little line like that.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect.
We have to hit his glowing weak spot.
And,
weak spot.
They end up beating him. The engines end up going back to their own world. We end up seeing like Sosuke is once again a race car driver, but he's driving go-karts now. And I'm seeing like, you're trying really hard to be a car ranger. It's not working. And then the guy, he comes in and just like, this isn't really working because you end up fixing.
I really hate the way this show ends.
He comes in, he comes around the corner, he pulls into the pit stop, just like, is there something you can fix on this? And the guy who is, the mechanic.
His boss, essentially.
It's basically his boss, or at least the mechanic there, is Speedor's voice actor. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just, a little nod thing. And then Bumper ends up coming back and just like, there's another one
This is the part that I hate.
That there's another one of the ministers that has come back, and we need your help to fight this guy again. Which, honestly, I didn't mind.
It ended pretty much the same way as Kiva. Guess
Yes,
what?
but-
There's another group of monsters. We have to go fight them.
But
Run into the sunset.
hold on, they resolved that. They resolved this
Mm-hmm.
because in the Go-Onger Shinkenger special, he's the one that they're fighting.
Yeah.
So it honestly works.
I still don't like it when shows end this way.
At least it ended on a cliffhanger, but it made sense later on, so I didn't mind.
It's not really a cliffhanger. It's just like, oh, guess
End
what?
it.
We're not actually done. We have to go fight some more.
But they did the smart thing and setting themselves up for the team up. I can give them that because of that.
I can understand that. But when you're watching it, and say you're watching it as it aired, and you don't know that the Shinkenger team up's going to include it, it kind of just seems.
Did it build up to something? Yes, that's good, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Now, let's go ahead and talk about these characters.
All 8 bajillion of them. Can we not talk about each and every engine?
No. Here's the thing.
We'll talk about the engine as a
Each
whole.
one of them plays 1/8 bajillionth of a character, so it covers them all.
Sosuke, I've talked about him before. I still
You
don't
were
like him.
on point today.
Well, thank you.
He's a very shonen protagonist.
He's very shonen.
Yeah, bad shonen
The
protagonist.
instant he shows up, it's like, I'm so great. He was Yosha Lucky before there was Yosha Lucky.
He has some of the same phrases
Yeah.
that Lucky did.
Yeah.
And I felt that. I was sitting here like I was waiting for him to say Yosha Lucky.
But just
And he did.
the instant you meet him, he's just got like a self-righteous stick shoved up his ass. He
Yeah.
just thinks he's the greatest thing ever.
A self-righteous stick shoved up
Sosuke
his
is
ass.
bad shonen. He's
Sosuke's-
like,
He's also got a shonen name. Can we just...
Sosuke Isumi.
and the haircut. He has a shonen haircut.
He's got the shonen haircut.
He's got the shonen...
He
This
reminds
is,
me-
this is a live-action anime, everybody.
It is.
That's just all this is. It's a live
I don't know
action.
what the name of that anime is. That most recent one is like
Black Clover.
Black Clover,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
guy
AKA
yells.
Naruto with magic.
Yeah, where the guy just yells the entire time.
Yeah.
That's most shows.
No, this one, it's literal, not figurative. It's literally. He just screams. I tried watching it. He doesn't stop. And it's like, his voice is almost as graining as Goku's Japanese voice actor. And so it hurts.
Well, Goku's supposed to be a lady in Japanese.
It's still grainy.
It is. But yeah, Sosuke, yeah. I talked about in my worst reds overall in my rant with the worst
Yeah.
reds. God, I don't like him.
He is
so
literally everything we hate about obnoxious Reds.
Yeah.
He's what I hate
No,
about bad
I
shonen.
still think there's other Reds that are worse.
Yeah, but he's just bad
But he's
shonen.
still bad.
Yeah.
He's bad shonen.
He's still
And
really bad.
Yeah.
For me, that's all shonen.
Not all shonen.
Not all show.
I don't like shonen.
Hunter, Yu,
Yeah. No.
old JoJo.
Old JoJo's an exception.
Ren, Blue. He's smart.
He's the chef smart one.
Yeah.
He's the artistic one.
But he's sort of soft-spoken. He gets overshadowed by everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a
It's hard
problem.
not to get overshadowed when you have Sosuke.
Yeah. But he's just quiet in the background. And that's sort of a problem with some of these characters. Especially because he's supposed to be more or less a second in command. But
He's not a very good leader.
he's
He
not
did
memorable.
not really get portrayed that way.
He's just not really memorable.
You know, he has his artistic qualities where he's very particular with his food and he's very good at making omelets, and they do give backstory to that later with the in episode, which that episode was okay. But his character just and that's the episode where he stops making his anime noises and people are like, "Hey, you stopped making your anime noises. What's wrong?"
He's not inaccurate.
He's not at all. Asaki. Who?
She's
The girl.
She's the girl. She is pretty and smiles.
Yeah,
That's all she is.
that's her character.
Her character is pretty and smiles.
Yeah, a lot of the characters in this show, you can say the same thing about Gaki Ranger. You really can't say it about Shinkenger, but you can say it about Gosager, aren't that memorable. And it's mostly just everybody that isn't loud.
Mm-hmm.
Green.
If this were a harem show, he would be the protagonist who constantly gets beat up.
Yeah. I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
He's annoying. And he doesn't
And he doesn't even have the added the bonus of getting pregnant to make us like him.
No. He tries to be funny. He's anime funny. And that doesn't translate.
Okay,
to real life.
anime. Okay, Nichijou is anime funny. It doesn't mean any dark gah.
He's just
All right,
like,
then.
I don't know how I feel about the term anime funny, because some anime are funny.
no, it's just like it doesn't translate well into real life.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
It doesn't work in the anime either with characters like him.
Yeah, he's the timid one in the background.
He's the timid one.
He really likes girls, so I'm just like, I already immediately hate you. Because that's half of your character right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
And
half
you're
is,
not confident enough to pull it off.
the other half is I like to work. The other, there is nothing else.
Alright, let's talk about Gunpei.
Yeah, what about him?
He's the overbearing one. Who
He showed up in the first episode and said, "Hey, you guys are dicks.
Yeah, that
They're
was
not
his
allies of justice."
That's his thing at the very beginning. And then he has an episode later on where he's like at the bottom of the hero rankings and he tries to make himself better and it doesn't work. I don't like Gunpei. He's just a character I just sort of really don't like.
Yeah, I don't like him.
He's stern man.
Yeah. That's him.
He's a stern man.
Alright, let's talk about Hiroto. Here's my thing with Hiroto. We saw the beat. And this character is very similar. Mm-hmm. Especially in some cases.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same actor, but it's literally like the director told him to portray the same character, but
you know that character you played in Kabuto? Do that again.
Basically.
But a little less.
Yeah, it's like you have a sister, you love
Diet
her
B.
and stuff. Yeah, Diet B. It's lowercase
If
b.
I make a soda,
Lowercase b.
If I make a soda, I'm calling it Diet B.
Like, I like him enough. I like what he ends up bringing to the show because it's a lot more serious than Sosuke. And, that's basically his main rival throughout the show.
You could boil down every single character in this show to one word.
What's Hiroto's?
Huh?
Zabi.
No, jackass.
Jackass.
I honestly think he's fine, if only because we need a break from Sosuke.
Fair enough. But
he's a lot
still
more
kind of a
serious.
jackass.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely is. Miyu. She's the whole reason that the Go-On Wing started working with the Go-Ongers in the first place. She's sort of like, okay, you guys are pathetic. I'm going to try to help you.
Y'all suck.
Yeah.
If you want something right, you gotta do it yourself.
Miyu's a fine character.
She's okay.
Like, she's not the worst.
Yeah. No, she's not the worst.
She's not the worst,
That being
but
said, I still didn't like her that much.
I really didn't like anybody in this show. Like, they were, like, I tolerated them.
Like, I think out of everybody...
That's a good word to describe it. Tolerated.
Yeah. I think out of everybody in this show, I think I like the Wings the most.
Yeah.
Only because I was just tired of the regular
Because you had to tolerate them less.
Yeah.
They were in the show less.
The engines are there. Here's the comparison
Oh, they're there, alright.
Jacob and I were making beforehand.
Yeah.
Abaranger. Look at that.
Another show with talking mechs.
You said something about the way that they're introduced.
Yes. Well, when we are introduced to Abba Red meeting Tira for the first time, Tyranno for the first time, there is a sense of awe and wonder in that character. Like, oh my god, that is a T-Rex. And then forming a bond with it and fighting evil with it. You feel that throughout the show.
And, bonding over the fact that they were both fathers.
Yes.
And, Blue was sort of like an older brother to Tricera.
Mm-hmm.
And Yellow was there.
Yeah, it was also there. But in this one, we open the show. They already met, and there isn't really much of a bond. It's just we all make anime noises. That's the thing we share in common.
Oh no no!
Oh god!
Oh no!
Sawordo.
The engines are characters, but not really.
They're caricatures.
Yeah. It would have just been better. I don't know. I think it's because of the fact that, we haven't...
they are the sassy lady, they are the big tough guy, and they are Shonen Man.
Yeah, it's like, it hasn't been but so long since we...
Shonen Man!
It hasn't been but so long since we watched...
Don't use those guys.
Abaranger. So it's just like we still have that in our memory. It's just like, they did it so much better because they really felt like they built up bonds.
Yes.
In that show. It doesn't really feel like they did that here.
Nope.
So that doesn't sort of be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying not to laugh at what you said.
That's basically what we end up thinking about Go-Onger. Is it the worst? No.
Is it the best? Fuck no.
No.
There are definitely worse. Ninja exists.
Ninja exists.
There are definitely worse.
Ranger exists.
But for me, it's down there. in terms of.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. But I think upon rewatch, just like, I didn't mind it as much because I already went in knowing what I was going to expect. Oh, right. The thing I forgot to mention. At the very, like, when they ended up doing their final transformation in episode 50, most badass thing ever. They all end up having all their helmets off. And the helmet just got blasted off. They end up doing the kick in, like, it's them actually doing the roundhouse kick, and Gold and Silver end up doing the triple axle flip going forward. I think it's so cool. And then they end up blowing up the dad. I'm not even going to try to remember his name. Yogo's dad. They end up doing basically the entire episode is just them in suit. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It was alright.
Yeah,
it doesn't redeem the rest.
If I can end on something positive as well, I really like the roll call.
Yeah, I like the roll call.
But it doesn't still make up for the last 50 episodes.
No,
garbage.
The last 50 episodes.
But yeah, that's what we end up thinking about Go-Onger. Next time in episode 59 is going to be Jacob and I.
Yep.
Doing Ultraman Guide.
Yay.
Been a little bit. Matt gets to have a break. And then in episode 60, it's Girl Season 3 finally.
Hooray.
I'm just glad to have a break because between watching this and binging the anime I'm watching for Nerd and I'll be glad to watch one that's in English in my household.
What are you doing for Nerd and Denial?
Haven't been telling anybody on my channel or on our streams. It's season 1 of Food Wars though. Because I figured Sam would really like it because food porn the anime.
Shokugeki no Soma.
Shokugeki no Soma.
Maybe a show he wouldn't shut up about.
And I'm rewatching.
Back when it was first airing.
Actually, no, I was behind.
Well, when you were first watching it.
Yeah. But
hey, Jacob, have I mentioned how much I like Food Wars? Yes, you mentioned every time we lock eyes.
But yeah, tell us what you think about Go-Onger in the comments below.
Tell us what you think about RPM, because we're going to be doing the in comparison next.
Yep. That's another thing everyone's been looking forward to.
Seriously. But, as always, subscribe, like us if you haven't, go follow Nerd and Nile, and on their Twitch, Nerd and Nile 226.
Go to our Patreon, become patrons.
Please. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.